quite often when we're working in the remote areas of the state, we almost have to calculate one day to get our stuff together and get on site, and then at least a day to do the work that we're doing, and then a day to get home. So depending on how remote the area is that we're working, and typically I'm in those remote areas, a lot of my day can be spent just getting there. I am Scott Larsen. I am a data transport engineer here at the Utah Education and Telehealth Network. I went to school at Southern Utah University, and when I was there, I had a friend who got me involved actually operating cameras for the distance learning classes. I was going to school to be a network administrator, and I quickly fell in love with the technology that UEN uses and decided this was more where I wanted to be than in a corner office without windows. My primary responsibilities involve the microwave radio system, the fiber optic network, and the power and UPS backups that we have around the state. And those microwave radios are a way to be able to distribute the internet to the schools where a cable is not accessible to do that. But to do that, we also have to have line of sight to be able to see one radio to the other. So when I go onto a mountaintop, it is for a repeater site that is able to see the two locations where the signal's coming from and where the signal's going to. Often case the district office to the high school. And if there's a problem within that radio, I'm replacing cards or troubleshooting a failure within the equipment there on the radios. One of the unique things with this job is the ability to use some of the skills that I have done as a hobby versus things that I would normally think would be a job-related skill. Currently at UETN, our safety policy has two levels of climbers. One is a primary level climber, the other is a secondary level climber. In order to be a primary level climber, we require a SPRAT certification. That's S-P-R-A-T, which stands for the Society for Professional Rope Access Technicians. That is a training that allows you and teaches you to not only work while connected to ropes and being suspended in the air, but also to rescue someone who has had problems and is stuck at a height and be able to get them to ground. The communication towers normally run anywhere from about 60 to 100 feet on average. In the case of Utah State being our tallest tower, that one is about 250 feet tall. And so we need the ability to get up to where the antenna level is on those radios. And so using skills that most people would associate with rappelling or rock climbing and being able to get up and work with our hands free, but still being secured and safely able to function at that level. Whenever there's a problem, whenever things don't work and aren't working, it becomes imperative that we get those circuits up and running. There's so many services that are provided through the internet connection into the schools that when it's not working, it really almost makes it impossible for the schools to operate. One example of that is even their phone systems are running over the network. And so if their phone service is not working, they literally are not allowed to hold school. So it's imperative that we get there quickly, and we resolve any issues that are taking place. Here in the northern part of the state, almost completely the northern part of the state, we live in a very urban area where things are close together, and it's very easy for a communication company to put fiber in the ground and be able to support a large area with that fiber. But most of the state of Utah is made up of rural communities that are often 20 or more miles from the nearest other community, and then those services are being provided specifically for that community. UETN, as part of its charge and part of what it tries to do for those communities, by getting the fiber to the school, we're not only providing a circuit for that school, but we are providing circuit services into that community that would not otherwise be available, that can be used by other services and other businesses in that area. Some of the projects that we work on, it is amazing the expanse that they tend to take on. And we may go into an area on a limited project and think that we are just providing services to one or two locations, or maybe even a specific level of service to those locations. And we quickly realize that that level of service increases, the needs increase to those areas. And so quite often, as in the San Juan project, right now we are finding that their needs have increased beyond what we've been able to provide. So we are currently looking to provide increased levels of service and increasing the equipment and the services that we're providing down there to be able to meet the needs of the teachers and the students down there. One of the things about working for UETN, and specifically working with the field operations team, is how well we tend to work together. The skill sets that the field team has are so varied and so diverse that it's really interesting to see where each of our strengths can come into play in projects. And the more that you have involved, the more those strengths help out. And that extends even into the districts. As we implement our Safe Climb, we have worked very closely with the San Juan School District, who now has 3 individuals with the professional rope access certifications that can be primary climbers and we can work directly with when we're in those areas. So being able to pull those resources, not only from within our organization, but from within those organizations we work with, is really key to a project going smoothly and coming together well. The most rewarding part of my job, and I don't want to say it's unique to my job, but it would be within the organization, but in some ways is more unique to me or more specific to me, is the personal relationships that I have directly with the districts and the people with I work. Quite often, I give my personal cell phone number and things to those that I'm working with, and they know that if there's an issue, they call me directly. They're not calling in to the main line or whatever else. I will get the call that says, "Scott, I'm having this issue. Is this something you can help me through, or do you have time to come out and help me with that?" And those types of connections with the communities and with the schools and the districts, I think is something that's hard to get when you're not on site and you're not right there working with them. And those relationships are the most rewarding part of my job.